Mia, before we start the show,
Yeah.
I was going to send you a photo last night and then I chickened out. So what happened is I went to like one of my op shops and I bought this top and I wasn't sure. So I went to get my phone from another room, which meant I had to walk past Luca in the top.
Yeah.
And he said, "What are you wearing?"
Yeah.
And then
That's
he
always
said,
a good sign.
when they make a comment, you know it's bad. And he said, "Do you have a parrot to go with that pirate top?" And that's a bit mean. So I went to take a photo to go, well, I'm sending a photo to Mia because she'll tell me whether it's cool and trendy or if I can't ever wear this outside the house.
You know, I love it when you ask my fashion opinion.
Yes. And so I took a photo and then I looked at the photo and went, I can't send this to Mia.
Can you show it to me now?
So I thought I'd show it to you now.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Can I see?
So it's not the ruffles that's the problem.
Okay.
It's the very high neck with your very big bosoms.
Yes.
I thought that might be the
three
problem.
of us are women of a certain bust
Jessie,
size.
that's a rookie era for
It's
the
just not
big-breasted
right.
lady.
Yeah, no.
And it's not the top's fault.
It's not the top's fault.
It would look great on someone.
So what the problem is, because it's ruffled around the neck, and it then means that it sort of pleats out to the boob line, and it just makes you look like you have a mono boob.
You got to show skin.
Yeah, got to
Do
show
you think
skin.
I look like a pirate?
No, not a pirate.
He also said that I looked like something out of Annie, the musical, and then Luna started shouting, Annie, Annie, and I was like, I'm just being bullied in this home and I can't be bullied by Mia too, not at 8 p.m.
No, I'm broadly supportive.
Okay.
I like that you tried.
Thank you.
But I think that you should free its future, maybe to be with someone else.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
That one?
No, I think you're right. Okay, I'm glad I asked. Welcome to Mamamia Out Loud, what women are actually talking about on Friday the 19th of September. I'm Jessie Stevens.
I'm Amelia Lester.
And I'm Mia Friedman.
And here's what's on our agenda for today. The real reason why your skincare routine and all your makeup is getting way more expensive.
Plus, I've got a dating rule which can actually apply to all sorts of areas of life, but it's either completely brilliant or downright cruel, and I can't tell, so we need to talk about it.
People love your dating stories.
Oh, good. I got a lot of them.
Yeah. Foolishly, some people think that you only like to talk about smart things, but it's not true. You love a dating story. Also, we've got some recommendations for your weekend, including an unhinged celebrity doco, a book from Amelia about a love story in an unlikely place, and a sheep. And I'll get to that later.
There is a story I've been desperate to talk about for weeks.
Oh, tell me.
I keep pitching it. Oh, that would be my Uber Eats.
What have you got?
Okay, this is my top-up shop without the shop because I'm finding it, particularly at this stage in my life, it is an adventure every time we go to the shops.
Adventure is a euphemism.
Exactly. And this means I can focus. I know what I want. You know your midweek shop?
Oh, yeah.
You just need a few extra things to tide you over, to get you through the working week. It is so convenient. I get it delivered at work. I can take it home. Boom. We can go on with the show now that I've got my Uber Eats.
Okay, good.
But first, in case you missed it, I'm going on holidays tomorrow, and that's not the part that you might have missed. But I wanted to share with you 2 travel trends because you know I like a trend in any aspect of my life. The first is that soft reset holidays have become a thing. And a soft reset holiday is like a peaceful, low-key getaway. So it's the opposite of like a raucous girls' trip or
hike.
It's about nature. It's about rest. It's an emphasis on mental health and just doing calm things, not being overscheduled.
It's girls gone mild.
It's girls gone wild. It's not cities with a packed itinerary. It's the opposite of that.
I've also heard the term sleepcation, which is apparently very big
good.
between 25 to 35-year-olds. And I'm like, look, I'm in that demo. I'm like, we should have more energy than that. But apparently people are just going for like a good night's sleep for a week.
The way this crystallized for me is the anecdote in an article about it, which said that there was a woman who was quoted in the article who went to Paris, and instead of hitting up the museums and doing all the sights, she just did nothing but sit in cafes all day.
Oh.
And I thought, yeah.
Okay, guys, you'll be shocked to hear that this is what my holiday is.
Sitting in cafes.
Just watching people.
Yeah. Because you know I had this thing, I want to go to Copenhagen. I've just been like, I want to go to Copenhagen, not even sure quite where it is, but I want to go there and I just want to sit in cafes. I'll be doing that. I'm going to Paris for a few days. and then I'm going to a wedding in Puglia. And I've got nothing planned. Apart from the wedding, I've got nothing scheduled.
You don't strike me as someone who is into scheduling your holidays,
Oh,
though.
no.
Is this new for you?
I
or
don't
is
do
this-
tourist attractions. I feel claustrophobic. I just like to go to a city, spend a decent amount of time there. I don't really like being in the country. I don't like retreats or anything. But I like to go into a city and I like to pretend that I live there and just live like a local and find a cafe that I like, you know, build a routine.
Yeah, I have found this because the first time, like I love travel. It's one of my favorite things. And when I first go to a place, I have all of the list. Like I have to go. I'm ultimate tourist. I've got my backpack.
Really?
Yeah. I've got my hat. I've got my okay, I need to go to this museum and this landmark. And
I don't find that surprising.
Well, I have my first, for example, Rome, go and just tick it all off. I went to Rome for a second time a few years ago and that was so much better because I ticked off all the great things and I got to have my slow thing where I just got to walk around and just exist and enjoy Rome without having to run from place to place.
It's a soft reset.
It's a soft reset.
Look at you go.
What's your other trend?
Well, this one I'm really into as well. It's tattooism. So it's people getting tattoos as mementos when they travel. Instead of a fridge magnet or a snow globe or maybe a T-shirt, they're getting a little thing. So, for example, they might get a hibiscus if they go to Hawaii, or they might get some columns if they go to Greece.
Are you going to do that? Are you going to – because
obviously.
I saw some tattooist in one of the articles say your body is like your passport. Like, get some
so
stamps.
it's using your
That
skin
doesn't work
like
at the
a passport.
airport. I just want to make that clear.
I might just get a barcode or a QR code on my body.
Mia just proffers up her forearm. You have a tattoo on your forearm.
I do.
I'm wondering when you get a tattoo.
And I've got a tramp stamp. Do you want to see it?
No, it's okay.
No, I'll show it to you.
Oh, no. She's got to undo her skirt. You could get some on
This
your
is
bum
so
bum.
inappropriate. Oh, yeah, nice.
It's definitely an offensive symbol that doesn't mean what you think it means in another
I
language.
know. It was the most basic bitch tattoo you could get. It was like when I turned 30, I'm like, I just want something a bit Aztec on my lower back.
So
I've always wanted a tattoo. I actually have tattoo regret in the other way. You know how some people regret their tattoos? I regret never getting a tattoo.
It's not too late, my friend. I got this one on my forearm a couple of years ago. I think when I turned 50, I got it.
And do you like looking at it, or does it ever
forget
annoy
that it's
you?
I forget that it's even there.
I read recently that tattoos are back because we're having a backlash to this clean girl aesthetic that we've had over the last few years, which is the centre part and the no makeup and
Hailey
all of
Baldwin.
that. Yeah, we're
Tramp
having
stamps are coming
we're
back too,
to just
apparently.
being a mess
Yeah,
with some
right.
messy
Yeah.
eye makeup, a side part, and 100 tattoos.
And the way young people get tattoos is, you know, that the Gen Zs is that they just get little things here and there, like that have particular significance, almost like little doodles, like their body ends up looking like a little doodle. I mean, you don't want to go overboard, but once you've crossed the Rubicon and got your first, it is a bit addictive, I have to say.
I reckon it's better than the landfill. It's better than the landfill of just getting your fridge magnets everywhere you go.
Yeah,
right?
so let's see what I come back with. I tried to collect fridge magnets once, and my husband doesn't like clutter, so I collected two, and he didn't realise that I was starting a collection, and he chucked them out.
Oh.
Yeah, so tattoos it is then.
Has anyone else noticed that makeup, skincare, the beauty industry in general seems to be getting more expensive? So you walk in and you're just getting your
Tell me why.
your foundation.
It's not getting cheaper.
It's certainly not getting cheaper. Well, I came across the most interesting insight this week in Justine Cullen's newsletter. She is the former editor-in-chief of Elle magazine, InStyle, so she's very savvy. And here's what she laid out. So you might have noticed, I'm sure we've talked about it here, the tweens have swarmed on Mecca and Sephora. They have made it their own. You walk in now and they're running around, they got their fingers in the testers. They're using their Drunk Elephant, Glow Recipe, Summer Fridays, all of those that used to be ours, and they love it. They have an 11-step routine, and look, like Drunk Elephant is not an inexpensive brand, right? But something
it's a
about
very expensive
it's very
brand.
expensive, and it's like the aesthetic of it I think really appeals, like the packaging and
So
branding.
if you're not familiar with Drunk Elephant, lip balms in Australia start at about $30 and the skincare sort of goes up to about $250, and it's a white thing. The containers are white and then the lids are bright colours like fluoro,
they
blue,
look great
fluoro,
in
pink.
your
Amazing.
cabinet.
Yeah, like lollies.
Yeah, and it has like a great night cream and serum and it's got all that kind of stuff. And they're probably stoked because they've got this new market, right? But adult women do not want to be using the same products as their 12-year-old daughters or their 8-year-old niece. So Cullen's theory is that the tween takeover of beauty is partly to blame for this wave we're seeing in ultra expensive beauty products hitting the shelves. I mean ultra. So Louis Vuitton has launched a beauty brand. They're one of the latest sort of luxury brands to move into the beauty space. And they launched a lipstick for $265. Like a Chanel lipstick, I think, is like $60.
We
right?
should add that they have this whole thing about how you can refill it and it's leather, but it's unclear who's
leather
actually
lipstick.
doing that.
Wow.
And you know I cannot pronounce this, Mia, maybe you can. Maison Francis Kurkdjian.
What?
You know the perfume brand?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I've read it 1,000 times. I can't say it. They've released it.
Maison Francis. I've never said it out loud.
Yeah,
so anyway.
yeah. But like I recognise the spelling. Anyway, they've released a collector's edition of their cult fragrance and it's said to smell like sex and money, which is very not Tween, right? But it retails at $42,000.
Sorry, what?
$42,000. So I suppose the brand problem for your Mecca and your Sephora and the brands it stocks is how do we retain our adult customers while also serving this new massive market of tweens? Mia, you're a business expert.
I am.
What do you think?
I'm in business.
You just spend a lot of time in Mecca, let's be real.
Oh, yeah. It's my happy place. And Sephora. So in the US, there's a store called Ulta Beauty, which is like, put it in context, Amelia.
Ulta's a little bit down market of Sephora.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of
thing.
vibe, right?
Yeah.
So they're offering tween parties there.
Oh.
You can go and you can have your party. And the thing,
Like
the big
McDonald's.
mistake, yeah, like McDonald's, exactly. The big mistake that Drunk Elephant made when the tweens discovered their brand was to pander to that and say, oh, this is a whole earlier entry to the pipeline of our customer. We're going to lean hard into advertising on TikTok. We're going to use influencers. So even though they didn't specifically market to tweens, they went where tweens were and their marketing was designed to appeal to tweens. The problem with that, among many, is firstly their products aren't designed for tweens. So the tweens are going to have some bad reactions to the products and guess where they're going to share them? On social media because those kinds of products made for adult skin have a lot of actives in them and tweens don't need that. The second thing is, I mean, apart from the cost, the big mistake of that people make, and this is what Drunk Elephant did, is that you don't pitch at the customer you've got, you pitch a little bit above because tweens don't want something for tweens. That's why they like Drunk Elephant in the first place, right? So what happened was also, as you said, Jessie, you're in Sephora, you're in Mecca, you're at the fancy place and you're getting jostled by literally a bunch of kids in school uniforms. Suddenly you're like, this isn't my brand.
This isn't a luxury experience.
I don't belong here. And also just like this brand doesn't embody me because let's be honest, like beauty products, they're all very similar, made with very similar ingredients. We're buying into a brand which says something about us. And this has been borne out. So, and the other thing about tweens is that they're incredibly fickle. So they're into that. And now they're not. So there is no pipeline. It's not like they then become lifelong customers of Drunk Elephant. And so Drunk Elephant's sales were down 25% in 2024. And in the first quarter of this year, they were down 65%.
Wow.
Interesting.
So because they've lost all those older customers and the tweens have gone, they've screwed themselves.
So did you know that I think it's Gen Alpha, and it's 6 to 12-year-olds, girls, are the biggest consumers of beauty and makeup in the world?
I discovered this the other day because I went to see a primary school musical put on by Year 5 and 6 kids. And it was about an excursion that they took to Canberra.
I thought you were going to say to Sephora.
And all of the songs were referencing how the girls had to do their skincare routines while they were on the road and while they were on school camp.
Wow.
And I thought back to when I went on school camp to Canberra and I definitely didn't even bring my St. Ives peach scrub with me, let alone like worry about doing it on the road.
If you brought a toothbrush, it was good.
Yeah,
pace.
so that's when it kind of hit me that this is a real thing. But I want to throw another wild card in here because I think Justine Cullen's point is really smart, but also where does K-beauty fit into this? Because W-beauty and other K-beauty emporiums are exploding all across Australia and now increasingly in the US too.
So they're all the Korean beauty products.
So they're bringing Korean beauty products to the West. And because there's so much intense competition in Korea, the innovation is so furious. The prices have been driven down because there's so much competition. Skincare is kind of a national pastime in South Korea. And as a result, I'm finding myself increasingly turning to K-beauty products because they're better priced and yet they're on the cutting edge. So I'm wondering how these Western luxury beauty brands like a Louis Vuitton see that dynamic with K-beauty.
It's also, I was reading that K-beauty, which is so much on the rise, is about preventative and almost more simplified ingredients, whereas a lot of other products are about treating issues. I mean, now adults seem very into K-beauty, but it'll be a matter of time before those shops too are swarming, especially if they're at a cheaper price point.
Well, what's so funny about those shops? Do you ever go into them?
No.
Yeah, so I've started, as suggested by Lee Campbell. There's one near our new office. So I've started to go. I know you've been doing it for a while. I was quite late to it. And what's interesting is that it's like all the packaging and all the marketing is all like for babies. Like it's very
the
like,
textures are bouncy and moussey and like
it's
fun.
like stars and unicorns and fairy floss and sparkly, like almost fairies. So it almost looks like play makeup, and that's where the adult women are going. And the young women or the young girls are going to Sephora. The other funny thing, and buying the expensive products, the other funny thing that's happened that is talked about a lot less is that when there was this big move towards skincare for tweens and there were all these think pieces written about what does it mean and isn't this terrible, young boys, teenage boys were moving to fragrance. And this is something that I thought was just random in my house because my younger son was really into fragrance for a good couple of years.
And we're not talking Axe body spray, are we?
No, we're not talking Lynx. We're talking about like full on, like the best
luxury perfume.
Yeah, the best thing to ever do if you don't know what to say to someone young is to go, what's on your TikTok? What's on your For You page? And because everybody's is different and it's a good way to open a conversation. And I remember asking him at one point a few years ago, and he said, I'm on fragrance TikTok. So they just sort of get led down and discover these new things. And I thought, this is just really sort of maybe unique to him. But he said you go to a lot of his mates, they would go to David Jones after school and it would just be packed with teenage boys in school uniforms.
That's a great point about fragrance on TikTok because young people really have embraced that idea of learning and exploring about perfumes on TikTok.
Fragrance talk.
Which the fragrance companies were all flabbergasted by.
Yeah.
They thought that their business was over when life moved online. But brands like Fleur, which I know has just come to Australia, which has this real cult fragrance called Missing Person, that was kind of the first of the TikTok perfumes to be embraced.
So this is my theory though, because I think back to the products I used as a teen. So we were big into Impulse, the body spray. And
Spice Girls edition?
Oh,
did you get that one?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can still smell the changing after PE class and you can smell the Impulse, right? I am now revolted by products I used as a teen. Like you could not pay
There's
me.
a real stigma around
There's a
them.
stigma that it's like every life stage I enter into, I go, I need new brands
so
to reflect
true.
who I am.
Interesting.
So this idea that there's a lifelong pipeline, I think as you say, Mia, I don't think it's true because I think what we use at one stage, we actually certainly do not want to use later. And the tween group I find, it's essentially, it's not a real category. It's an advertising category that's been made up to target, a new group of people that are actually children, like 8-year-olds are children, let's be real. And what I worry about with the skincare thing is, I know it's age 12, but probably at about 13 or 14, my skin issue was acne, hormonal acne, right? These products are not going to help you with acne. There was nothing topical to put on my skin at 14 that was going to make my skin look better. And going into those shops and seeing the poreless, often lots of cosmetic enhancements filtered would have made me feel so bad. And in fact, I just think
but what do you think they're scrolling on their phones constantly?
Exactly right. And so I had my St. Ives apricot scrub, which probably did no good anyway. But
I think it was granules of sandpaper.
it was. But I don't think I really believed I was a skincare routine away from having glass skin. Like I never truly believed that. So I worry that, in fact, a lot of these products are making the skin of this demographic worse rather than better, whereas
they are.
Yeah, whereas in
They're too
adulthood,
active.
pigmentation or fine lines, you can kind of use a few things that doesn't disappear, but that kind of helps.
On the other hand, I mean, look, we knew nothing about how to take care of our skin, as discussed with the St. Ives, and if they're getting more serious about sun protection in particular from an early age, because if for nothing else, for vanity reasons, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But I just want to return to your idea of the stigma because I find that so interesting and true. I used to love Glow Recipe.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like I cannot use it because it's one of those tween brands. And it reminds me of when you were editing women's magazines, isn't that same principle of you're kind of pretending that the reader is a little bit older and more advanced than they are?
Yeah. So if the reader that you want to hit, if your target customer is between 18 and 24, as it was on Cosmo, for example, our creative bullseye would be 27.
So here's my question, right? Because the same thing happens with clothes. I walk around and I go, I would not enter that shop because that shop is me at 15. Women don't want to be shopping at the same shop as their daughter, right?
Sports
exactly.
girl.
They wouldn't. So if you're Mecca or Sephora or you're a beauty giant, what's your answer in this climate? Are you making a store specifically for tweens so that your other shop can exist as a luxury quiet moment for an adult?
No, because they don't want to be in the kids' store. They want to be at the big table. That's the whole point.
Ah, yeah, right.
That's the whole point.
Because there's all these products now. Like there was a beauty brand launched just in the US, I think last week, and 80,000 kids tweens showed up because it was an influencer that they kind of related with. But they're getting behind brands like nothing else. So I'm really interested in what happens in the next 6 to 12 months when increasingly women who have money to spend are getting elbowed out of Sephora by a 12-year-old.
And when they go to the K-beauty store, Mia, I do want to ask you about this as the business brain at the table. I cannot even open Excel without getting stressed out. So this is on you.
She can't either, to be clear.
Given that K-beauty is taking over amongst adult women, what do you think that push to really high-end differentiation from the Western cosmetics brands is about? Is it that they're saying, look, this isn't about skincare. You know it's not about skincare. It's not about the ingredients. It's not about the technology. It's about the status. And it's essentially selling skincare like a handbag. Is that it?
Yeah, it's the same reason why The Row, which is Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's brand, is selling thongs for $800 or $900.
With no branding.
And they're sold out. And they're not made of gold. They're just thongs. They're just rubber thongs. But it is a real the margins obviously are much, much higher when you have a higher price point. Your audience is smaller, like your target market is smaller. But there are certain people or brands that will use a higher price point to better distinguish their audience. So their audience is smaller, but it's more targeted, I guess.
And it's not the audience that is necessarily looking for the most cutting edge formulation. They're an audience that wants to show off the leather lipstick from Louis Vuitton.
I think the most squeezed part of the market is going to be that middle market because you've got the cheap brands, you've got the really prestige brands, but that middle market can get a little bit murky because is it kind of for everyone? Sometimes when you're for everyone, you're for no one. So at the top you've got, your Fenties and your the makeup artist brands and your Drunk Elephants and stuff. And then there are some fantastic lower end, but it's those sort of middle ones that could be a little bit lost.
And apparently a big thing for tweens because there's this culture of empties and there's this culture of obviously filming your routine. It is so much about packaging. Like they are so much more drawn to packaging than older women who are maybe more about the ingredients or more about the effectiveness.
Okay, I want to tell you about a thing called the lemon law. And it comes up originally in dating, but I'm finding myself increasingly able to apply it to all sorts of areas of my life. So I want to start, I think a good way to illustrate it is by telling you a little bit of a story, and it's a true story. Mm-hmm. It's about a TikToker named Mac, M-A-K.
Obviously.
She was really excited to go on a date with a guy called Josh. He was an electrician. I'm just throwing in that detail so you can sort of picture Josh in your head.
Yeah. It gives us some colour.
Exactly.
What did Mac do?
He's handy.
Mac's a TikToker. I don't know if that's her profession or what, but
Generally.
she was really excited to go on this date. She even did the thing where you get out the Dyson and you straighten the hair. She put on the makeup. Now, Josh had to drive 40 minutes to pick her up. So maybe he lives in another town or something. He pulls into her driveway. She grabs her purse. She runs down the stairs. She gets in the car to drive to dinner. And 5 minutes later, they're pulling up into her driveway again, and he's dropping her off. The date has ended.
What?
5 minutes into it. Mac was really devastated by this, and I totally understand that. She went on TikTok and she told her followers, I'm never attempting to put myself out there again. And you know what? Fair, Mac, fair. That sounds like a really upsetting experience. But what happened next is interesting, because rather than just everyone agree this was unacceptable, there started to be a schism in the comments, and some people were saying that this was in fact the lemon law in action. The lemon law is something that comes from How I Met Your Mother. I mean, I didn't think anything came from that TV show, but this comes from that TV show.
What the world of dating needs. Ready? A lemon law.
A lemon law like for cars.
Exactly. From the moment the date begins, you have 5 minutes to decide whether you're going to commit to an entire evening. And if you don't, it's no hard feelings, just good night. Thanks for playing. See you never.
And the idea is that from the moment a date begins, you have 5 minutes to decide whether you're going to commit to it or not.
Wow, that's brutal.
Can we just go back to Mac in the car?
Mac.
Do we know what happened in the car in those first 5 minutes?
Unfortunately, it's a TikTok, so I wasn't able to ask any follow-ups to Mac. But people in the comments were not surprised by this. There was not a lot of sympathy for it. People were this is the lemon law in action. You got to deal with it.
Why is it called the lemon law?
Because in the US, there's some laws around being able to return used cars when they're lemons.
Wow. I thought it was because the minute you put it in your mouth, you're like, ooh.
Well, that works too.
Yeah. I think it's ruthless in dating.
Yeah, no, okay. So first of all, I want to ask you both, is that okay in dating? And then I want to throw some other scenarios at you and get your reactions.
I think it's completely inappropriate and mean and rude.
I disagree.
And if you stick with someone for longer than 5 minutes, what's the worst it's going to... it's different if the person's,
Jessie.
racist or something. But if the person's just not someone you think you're going to marry, you might have
it's
a conversation with
of
someone.
Both your times. And I have to tell you...
how valuable is our time, Amelia?
That when you meet someone, you are lying if you say that you don't basically immediately know whether you're going to get along with them or not, particularly romantically, because it's all about the chemistry and the
get along with them or want to have sex with them?
Pheromones.
Because they're different.
Yeah, and don't you reckon, Amelia, I think about myself, the first 5 minutes of a date is the worst version of myself. I'm not...
Well, sorry, Jessie, but dating is not a charity.
Lucky someone put a ring on it then, Jessie.
It's about finding compatibility. Mia, where are you on this?
Wow. I think it's really, really interesting. All I can say about Mac is that it's lucky that she didn't drive the 40 minutes.
That's true.
I mean, it's very brutal. I can understand making the decision in your own head.
Yeah.
But
that's worse.
Look, I also think Mac's future was freed because someone who would be that callous, she would not want to be with, right?
Okay, but I want to push back on this idea that you're necessarily callous if you practice the lemon law. So when I was dating, the thing that I found the most awful about it is that you go out with someone and in an effort to move the conversation along and get through 2 drinks together, because that's what usually the duration of a date was, 2 drinks, you've got to volunteer a lot of stuff about yourself, because that's just how conversation works over the course. 2 drinks is basically 90 minutes, let's say.
In the first 5, it depends how fast you drink, but in the first 5 minutes.
But my point is that you go for those 2 drinks, you kind of know from the get-go that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You end up going home drunk, tired, and crucially, you've given too much of yourself. You've disclosed too much in the name of just simple politeness, basically.
So you're also emotionally vulnerable.
Yes.
I appreciate that, but I would also say that if I'd given my husband 5 minutes, I might have left. I might have left on really basic, superficial things of that in the same way I would have swiped the wrong way on him. Like, I think sometimes I don't believe in love at first sight for a lot of people. A lot of people say it took a long time to warm up. Sometimes I reckon you need more than 5 minutes. However, what I do agree with you on is that first date needs to be either a single coffee or a single drink.
A single coffee?
Yeah.
I just...
Because I think it's the meal. It's when you sit down for a meal and the person orders an entree and you go, this is a waste of time and money.
But Jessie, even one drink or one coffee, you're going to end up talking about like your life to this perfect stranger who you know you're never going to see again. And at the end of it, you feel really exposed and you end up feeling like you've given too much of yourself to a perfect stranger who probably decided in the first 5 minutes that he never wanted to see me again.
Can I ask about what happens in the flip way? Because there are a lot of people that can put on a good game for 5 minutes or 90 minutes or 2 weeks or even 3 months.
Yes.
And then you see what they're really like. So the lemon law certainly doesn't help avoid that.
It rewards that,
right?
It rewards people who can turn on a quick little stand-up performance for you.
What if someone's a bit more
life
shy?
Rewards people who can turn on a quick performance for you.
It's so brutal. What if you're a bit introverted? What if you're a bit shy? Like I know a lot of people who had bad first dates and things improved.
Well, I don't think no individual is necessarily expecting the person they're on a date with to start tap dancing in the first 5 minutes. But in the first 5 minutes, it's not saying like if you're shy, then by definition someone's going to leave. I think it's about compatibility, and that's something that you can kind of sense.
Did you ever do it? Did you
no,
ever leave?
I wish I had, because that's what really I found the most emotionally draining thing about putting myself out there again and again, was this feeling of like too many people know too much stuff about me that they never needed to know.
You know, Malcolm Gladwell has this thing that he calls thin slicing. It was in one of his books. And he says it's something that we all do all the time, which is exactly sounds like this lemon law, right? It is when you meet someone and you make very quick assumptions. And it's that the thin slicing, it's kind of like you take a thin slice of, I'm not good with
I think
deli
salami,
meats.
presumably.
Yeah, I'm not big on deli meats, but like a thin slice, you get the taste of it, right? So if you're sampling something, and but what we do is we do it automatically.
And is he saying that's good?
He's not saying it's good or bad.
Okay.
He said it's just what we do.
Yeah.
And so it means it's about making snap judgments. Now, sometimes they're wrong, but usually they're when you thin slice without even realizing it, oftentimes we'll say, I feel funny in my gut, or I've got a good gut feeling. So we all often talk about our gut, right? And what a gut means is really just all your thoughts and your experiences and knowledge up until that point in your life enables us to make quick judgments. Because prehistorically, when you were in the wilderness and whatever, you had to, you couldn't just go, you know what, I'm just going to give this another chance.
So that's my theory about the lemon law, is that it is perfect for people who trust their gut. You know, people have a really strong gut feeling that they just know, and they're quite impulsive, but they trust themselves. I don't have that. I don't trust my gut at all.
Right.
And so I like to question it.
And that's why you're saying if you and Luca had met through like a dating app and you'd used the lemon law, you probably would have left.
Exactly. And same with lots of experiences, whether it's a friendship or a job interview or a whatever. Like, I think I'd have made the wrong decision. But maybe if you back yourself a bit more, then maybe you're the type of person who could. May, you seem to trust your gut.
Yeah, it's often wrong.
Yeah, right.
It's often wrong.
I want to broaden this out and ask about other life scenarios and whether we think it's more or less acceptable. And the first example that springs to mind is books. Do you have to finish a book that you pick up, or can you read the first chapter and set it aside?
I lemon law books all the time. I do not have time to – and you know what? I probably am wrong sometimes, like where I just go, I'm not going to invest any more time.
It's hard though, isn't it? Because I hate the first 2 chapters of every book I've ever read because I hate having to learn new characters and a new world. I just want to be in it. I want to have that flow. But my Kindle should actually just be called Lemon Law because it is just full. And I think also
sometimes I get 1 page in and I go, don't like the writing.
Well, our
don't
concentration
like the character's
spans,
name.
right? Because it's like scroll, not interested, 2 seconds. We know this from working in social media. You have to grab people in the first paragraph. And that's why writing online has really changed the writing and reporting and journalism, because it used to be that you could sidle up to a point in a written article, and now you can't. You've got to get it in the first sentence.
say to Luca with television shows, I'm like, we're going to give it 10 minutes. Going to give it exactly 10 minutes and we'll decide. Amelia, do you lemon law books?
Yeah, I've got a caveat on lemon lawing books and a bit of clickbait. Later on in this episode, I'm going to recommend a book that I wanted to lemon law and didn't. So I actually think with books, there's less of a strong argument that you should be able to lemon law, because really writers should be given the respect of trusting that not everything's going to be revealed in that first chapter. And particularly with nonfiction books, one trap I see is that the first chapter is often the chapter that they sold the book on. And you can kind of tell, because it sort of reads like a little bit like a movie trailer. Like this is going to be a book full of intrigue and suspense, and it's like selling you on the book. And I'm turned off by that, but I understand that was what they needed to sell the book, and I'm going to get beyond that. That's just a nonfiction thing.
I just can't imagine looking at someone in the eye in the vulnerability of a date and just going, you know what? Like I can kind of get it at the end of a date.
Do you see my point that it's actually potentially a kinder thing to do, because it means that this person sitting opposite you isn't just disclosing all this information about themselves and opening themselves up to you when you've already decided you're not interested.
Yeah, but all that you can think is I must look terrible because, in 5 minutes.
But that's why it's 5 minutes, not 5 seconds. Like I have a friend who tells a horrible story about when she went on a date and she was sitting at a long bar and it had big windows out on the street, and she was texting with the guy who she had met on an app or something. And it was clear that he showed up to the restaurant, saw her, and then said he wasn't going to be able to make it. That's not lemon law. That's not lemon law. 5 minutes is actually a lot of conversation.
So, Amelia, here's my question. I've actually been in a lot of workish situations where I've sat down with someone in a professional capacity to talk about something, and I have known within 2 minutes that I can tell whether
job interviews
where I've just gone, oh no.
You can tell in a job interview in the first 5 minutes.
Job interviews both ways.
Yeah, no, totally.
So in that situation, I'm imagining, I'm sitting in a cafe or whatever. What am I meant to say when the 5 minutes is up? That's why I think it's different for different scenarios. Okay. I think that with job interviews, there is less of a reason to do it, because the person sitting opposite you, yes, they put a suit on and they're spending half an hour with you, but no one's disclosing personal information. No one's opening up in a way that will make them feel vulnerable and hurt afterwards. What do you think, Mia?
Yeah, I just wanted to always try and treat people with kindness.
And I think job interviews, it's important to just sit it out.
So how about the date though? How about if I show up on the date and I go, nah, this isn't for me, and I'm 5 minutes in? What am I saying to get out of the day?
I don't know, because I've never done it. Like this is new to me.
I'm lemon lawing you, or am I making up an emergency?
And Mac was clearly very upset, and I don't want to minimize that at all. Yeah. Like maybe there isn't a way to do it that's kind.
I would feel ugly.
Oh, no, there isn't. To be clear, there is no way to do it in a way that's kind. It feels dismissive. It feels like clinically efficient.
Even if it's ultimately better for you, it's still going to hurt so much more in the moment, isn't it?
It's Friday, so we're going to help set up your weekend with our best recommendations. I'm going to go first, and I've got two because I haven't been here for a while. Okay. The first I discovered last night is Kevin the Sheep. Kevin the Sheep is owned by a woman whose name I don't know. She's a young woman. She's in New Zealand, I assume, by her accent. Her account is called lunatic.asylum6, and she rescues unwanted sheep and lambs. She's got about 5 or 6, and she's got one called Kevin who she's had since he was little, and Kevin is really cranky.
Oh.
And Kevin tries to headbutt her, but all the time. Kevin is a really naughty sheep, and it's just funny. Like she'll just be trying to feed the sheep, and Kevin, she'll just go, well, have a listen.
Okay, I'm leaving. Oh, shit. Kevin's seen me. I can tell he's in a violent mood this morning. Kevin! F***ing hell, bro. Kevin, please. Good morning, everyone. Kevin, don't. Sheepy, help. Oh, my God. Kevin!
I think we all need a little bit of mindless distraction at the moment. I know I do.
Remember our former producer, Liza Ratliff, her family, who were regional, they adopted a cow who lost its mum and dad.
Oh, no.
Named Joe. And remember Joe, we followed Joe's updates, and Joe believed, because Joe was looked after and fed, and they looked after Joe, Joe thought he was a dog. So Joe lived on the veranda, behaved like a dog.
So lovely.
And then when they tried to reunite Joe with other cows, he was like, these are cows. Why would I hang out with them when I am a dog? It was just the loveliest.
Yeah, but I got too attached to Joe. And, you know, if you live on a farm and you can't get too attached.
No,
and
you can't. They all go
Joe
the same way,
ended up a
don't they?
different way to the way most dogs do. The other thing I wanted to recommend is, you know, I've never found a place I can't buy a thing. I want to recommend gold hoops from the chemist.
Oh.
Look at the ones I'm wearing today.
I love this rack.
I don't even know what the brand is, but you'll know. Every chemist has them. They're like good for sensitive
As
ears.
someone with sensitive ears.
Yes. Does every woman have sensitive ears?
I think they do.
I think we're just all told that from childhood.
I think we are.
I know that if I wear earrings,
Yes.
because I've got so many piercings up my ears,
Really irritating.
they'll get really
No, that's
irritated and
great.
ouchy. So these are great standbys, and they're just basic. They're like $20.
Do they come in silver too?
Different. They come in silver. They come in different sizes. They come in little diamonds. But I really like the hoops. They're very basic. I've stocked up before I
that's a
went
great
overseas because
one.
I don't want to take any fancy jewelry away with me.
That's a great one.
And yeah, hoops from the chemist. Jessie, what are you
I love it.
recommending?
I am recommending the Charlie Sheen documentary that is on Netflix.
Can you sell this to me because I'm not interested?
I'm so surprised you liked this because I watched it too.
Amelia, I was with you. And it was actually our producer, Em, who was like, I just have a feeling this is going to be a really good documentary. And I tried to convince Luca, who just went, you could not make me sit down and watch 2 hours about Charlie
Did
Sheen.
you have your pirate shirt on at the time?
I didn't.
Diminished
but
your
I'm on
persuasive
thin ice.
powers.
He's already
I'm
grumpy.
on thin ice with him. And I went, look, let's give it 10 minutes, lemon law. And it's called AKA Charlie Sheen. And it's really well made. And in the first 10 minutes, we learnt about 10 things about Charlie Sheen I didn't know. I didn't know his father was Martin Sheen. Like I knew
From the
nothing.
West Wing?
Yes.
Oh.
You didn't know that. Did
And
you know his brother was Emilio Estevez from The Breakfast Club?
No.
See, I didn't know
This
he
is
was
all Gen X lore.
exactly.
Oh,
I didn't know any of that. But they have John Cryer, who's the other one from 2.5 Men, which I've never sat down and watched an episode of that show.
No.
But at the height of Charlie Sheen's addiction, he was remains the highest paid television star of all time, $2 million an episode.
Wow.
That's what they were paying him. John Cryer was being paid maybe a third of that.
I don't even know what John Cryer looks like, and he's one of the best paid actors of all time.
Can you picture 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
So Charlie Sheen, then there's the kind of straight guy who's like a little bit more serious.
the geeky looking guy.
The geeky looking guy. But him talking, he's quite candid and open about his experience of working with Sheen during that and the tension with someone being paid so much more who was clearly, falling off the tracks.
Is he likable, Sheen?
No, I wouldn't say likable, but fascinating. Fascinating.
My favourite, they have all the people that they're interviewing. They've got Denise Richards, who is now on Real Housewives or was. And my favourite one is Sean Penn, who was a contemporary of Charlie Sheen. So it was like they all grew up together. It was Sheen, Sean Penn, Tom Cruise. It was that whole crew, right? And Sean Penn just has the most incredible face. I think he's pretty stoned through this whole interview. And he's just got this craggy face. He's got a cigarette in his hand in every quote that they've taken. And it's like they probably did a 2-hour interview and he's never without a lit cigarette in his hand. And the way he speaks sort of slowly and he's just so wry. And everyone is like, they've clearly got a lot of affection for Charlie and it's ultimately about addiction. And they're all like, he is his worst enemy. Like he gets in his own way. And he was very humble about that too. So no one was like doing any spin.
Yeah, but I think it's a story too of the women and children that get left in the wake of a man with this level of addiction. And basically it's like what happened if you had drug, alcohol, all of that addictions, but you were built in a way that meant you never fell down. Like physically he could just keep going. Sean Penn is like, this is not what drugs do to other people. And so all I knew was the 2011 winning moment.
Winning? I win here and I win there. Now what?
And he kept being on
Tiger Blood.
Yes, and he kept being interviewed.
He had a very public meltdown, and I don't know if it was just pre-social media, but I remember it was the first kind of online in real time. Like clearly he was having mental issues. He was horribly wasted on drugs, and it was really car crashy to watch.
And it was kind of he was the most followed person on Twitter, and everyone was throwing a microphone in his face.
And money at him.
And he went on a world tour.
Yeah.
And people showed up.
What did he do on the tour?
He needed the money because he'd spent it all.
How did he perform?
He would do a show where he'd talk about himself, but he was on so many drugs that he was barely coherent. And all these people wanted stories of him and Nick Cage when they were young and all the people he dated, and he couldn't tell a story. He could barely stand up. So there's a point at which he says, like, I needed someone there to tell me to get off the stage, which is something I'm usually sympathetic to. But at that point in the story, I was like, you have such a supportive family and so many supportive friends.
His father was amazing.
Was amazing that I was like, at some point, this is on you. Like, you have been so supported and like the rehab and everything. But just a fascinating story about addiction, about testing positive for HIV, which I don't think any celebrities talked about before. Really well made, two-parter. You don't have to be interested in him, but just as a kind of snapshot of kind of
if you're a
2000s.
Gen Xer, you'll particularly like it.
Yeah. How about you, Amelia?
Well, I've got a book that I was about to lemon law, and I've been keeping you updated on this book
Because
and
I
my
lemon lawed
progress
it.
with it. Yeah, you lemon lawed it, and I was like, I'm going to lemon law it too, but something made me keep going, and I'm so glad I did. It's called Atmosphere.
Oh, is that the Taylor Jenkins Reid?
This is the new Taylor Jenkins
I
Reid.
was so excited.
I was so excited that she had a new book out, and then when I heard it was about space, I'm like, oh, well, I can't read that.
I'm here to tell you that I felt exactly the same way.
I don't like space.
But something about the title drew me in. I think it's a really good title. I don't like space either, but I liked the title, and I like some of her books, not all of her books by any means, but I decided to give it a go, and I'm
What's
so
the one you
glad
like
I
the
did.
most?
Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah, The 7 Lives of Evelyn Hugo.
No, I like
really
the one
liked.
about the rock star.
Oh, yeah. The one that's an interview. It's like
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Daisy and the Six.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. This is about a 1984 space shuttle mission from NASA, but it's interspersed with a love story that's between two astronauts. There's a bookish astrophysicist called Joan Goodwin and an aeronautical engineer called Vanessa Ford. So, yes, it is a love affair between two women. And as far as I know, I think that's the first time that Taylor Jenkins Reid has...
She experimented with it in one of her
Yeah,
books.
we won't say which one.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I was going to say that seems to be a bit of a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just loved that it intersperses these two plots. There's the space shuttle mission, which is very suspenseful, and then there's the love story. And she's such a good, like a masterful writer, because every time you get a little bit bored with one of those two plots, chapter ends, next chapter you're back in the other plot that you're more into. And I admire that kind of ability to keep me turning the pages.
I think there's something wrong with me, Amelia. I need to pick it back up because I have only heard great things about this book and I feel a lot of shame that I didn't
How
finish
far
it.
did you get and why did you put
I
it
got
down?
literally halfway. Like I
Just
got halfway
try
and
and
just
finish the chapter you're in, because it will take you to the plot that you like more. And then at the end, they come together beautifully, and she really does stick the landing. And there's nothing I like better than a book that sticks the landing.
Okay, everyone says that. So I think you're right.
Is there a lot of space in it?
No, barely any.
Oh, okay.
See, I'd read Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which was the one that won the Booker
that
Prize.
seems hard to read.
And that was the best.
Oh, did you loved that, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it. It was 24 Hours in Space. And I feel like I shouldn't have read that before this.
No,
because
I think it's not fair to compare them. My
Yes.
understanding of that book is that it's doing very different things.
It is. And so this I just think didn't quite compare, and then I got turned off. But I should pick it back up. Good idea. A big thank you to all of you, the Out Louders, for listening to today's show. And, of course, our fabulous team for putting this show together every week.
Can I just shout out, because we started the show talking about your shirt in somewhat derogatory terms, but I want to mention that today I love the 90s vibe of what you're wearing. It's very Jennifer Aniston, and only our YouTube audience will get to see it.
Okay.
Winona Ryder.
Interesting. Do you think, because I've had a few comments, Luca again, it sounds like Luca criticizes me a lot, which maybe he does.
You're
but
wearing a white T-shirt with a black shift dress over the
is
top.
it a bit schoolgirl?
Yeah, but in a sexy way.
Okay, okay. I took it as a compliment. All right, love it.
Yeah.
Amelia, please read the credits.
Our team needs a lot of big claps. Group executive producer Ruth Devine. Executive producers are Emmeline Gazillis and Sasha Tannick. And our senior audio producer is Leah Porges. And now I'm reading your bits, Amelia. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Our video producer, big claps for Josh Green. And our junior content producers are Coco and Tessa, who gave me a mint. Thank you.
Did you listen to our tarot card episode
No,
last Friday?
I haven't been listening to the show.
Okay, last Friday's
break from all of
episode,
you.
and I'm going to do a little tease right now.
Okay.
But there is something that tarot card reader says in last Friday's episode. If you haven't listened, you just simply must. There is something that she said that is about to happen. And I didn't realize that it was about to happen until I saw a comment in the Out Louders, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize. So she's just so spot on about so many different things. We've had so much feedback. Also go to the Out Louders group, and they're all sharing their tarot card reader stories that give you goosebumps.
I saw her. I thought she was fantastic.
She is. And we asked her about you. And so if you want just a free tarot card reading, just listen to last Friday's ep. We also left the mics rolling and did some personal one-on-ones with Evelyn.
When are we going to hear those?
They are subscriber episodes for this week. So that was Tuesday's subscriber episode. It's very personal. It's very private. It is only for our subscribers. We will pop a link in the show notes to both of those episodes. Bye.
Bye.